Hey, you there. Thank you for watching, and welcome to Forge Line's Favorite. Today I have a 3v3 ladder match here on the most amazing Neuroxis map generator. So let's go ahead and introduce our teams and our players. Starting off with Team 1 on the western and northwestern-ish sides of the map, ending with Team 2 on the east and southeastern sides of the map. Taking a look at Team 1's more isolated player in the south. Starting off, we have in Royal Blue, Hugh Janus. I think I'll probably just call him Janus for short. He is a Cybran. He is a 1699 rated, again, as a Cybran. To the northern half of Team 1, we have in Amethyst Purple Gava playing as a Seraphim. He is an 1198 rated. And his next door neighbor is another Cybran for Team 1. It is Dremmer playing as a 2099 rated, the highest rated player on Team 1. And in the game, overall, by a decent margin, just a little bit over 400 points of rating between him and the highest rated player on Team 2. And again, he is in Stitch Blue. So for Team 1 side of the map, they have a Seraphim flanked by two Cybrans, which means no UEF and no Aeon for Team 1. Starting off with Team 2's isolated player on the eastern side, we have in Chevy Crimson, the Seraphim of Scrat. He is a 1638 rated. To his south, we have in Orange to Color Orange, we have Zum playing as the Seraphim as well in, again, Orange to Color Orange as a 1522 rated. And to his west in Ruby Red, the highest rated player on Team 2, it is No Red for You, aptly named because he is in Ruby Red as a 1695 rated. Again, highest rated player on Team 2. Which means for Team 2's entire lineup, it's only Seraphim. It's Seraphim all day, so no Cybrans, no Aeon, and no UEF, which means for the entirety of this 3v3 ladder, there are no UEF and no Aeon. Apologies to those loyal to the Princess and to those loyal to the Old Earth Empire. Hopefully, everyone will enjoy the game nonetheless. And for these 6 players total on the map, let's take a look at the reclaim situation. Currently sitting at 25,000 mass in reclaim, which makes it just a little bit over 4,000 mass per player. And that is a decent amount of clumpage of reclaim in the middle of the map. Out of the 25 rough thousand, there's 2, 4, 6, 8. And that's rounded up to maybe 9 or 10-ish, so a little under half of the reclaim resides in the middle of the map. That would make sense, of course, but there is a big clumpage of it in the middle, as well as, 1,000 down here. We have 1,000 up here. Nothing. Oh, no, we have another 1,000 and then another 1,000. So every corner of the map has 1,000, and then the middle has, 2, 2, 2, 2. So there's a lot of reclaim to grab on the map, and the map does not skimp out on the mexes as well. There is a very plentiful supply of mexes on the map. Taking a look at the middle, of course, we see 4 quad mex positions roughly in between all of the major reclaim clumpages. We also see Trimex positions on the way to the middle in all directions, roughly 1, 2, 3, 4. Yep, 1 in each direction at a minimum, with a lot of mexes on the then eastern and western half of the isolated players for these teams on those corners of the map. So lots of reclaim to grab, lots of mexes to grab, lots of very safe mexes, very much not safe mexes on the map. The main focus, of course, isn't just going to be on land in the game. It's going to be a little bit on Navy. We have these 4 ponds that players can walk through and over to the other side, as we see both Team 1 and Team 2 doing now. We also, of course, have the main avenues for land, so I expect to see fire bases essentially in these little corners here. Maybe not necessarily here and here, because that's, Team 2 side and Team 1 side, but at least in the middle of the map, kind of a nice little dividing line at some degree, and have fire basing wars, having all of the missile launcher spam, T2 fighter bomber spam, all that sort of thing, all in the middle. But of course, rating going down all around the clock, so players going to have to be very much have a head on a swivel. I think that's the phrase. Yeah, that should be the phrase. So they're aware of everything and anything going on. T2 started for Gava. First upgrade is not gun, which I'm not super surprised about, because there is a lot of territory, a lot of mexes, a lot of reclaim to grab, so players definitely want to try to keep that for as long as possible. We do see combi-com action might occur first in the south between No Red For You for Team 2 and Janus of Team 1. No gun online for either of them yet. I do expect maybe a gun to be online for Red soon because he's being very aggressive. If Janus falls back, you can easily get a gun and overwhelm that position. Maybe kill off No Red, maybe just keep him in the water for a while. But again, definitely going to be a back and forth on the northern and southern sides for sure. The land invasions sometimes work and they sometimes don't work, and it just depends on what players focus on. We do see a little bit of a run by from No Red on that southern edge. On the northeastern side, we do see Team 1 has landed a couple of facilities, Team 1 PD to protect them for now, and no upgrades yet for either of those players. We do see a couple of units starting to blitz on past the comm of Gava Gava. He does have some engineers and facilities nearby to build, PD or THAMs or any of the, Zooey spam, Selen spam, that sort of thing. But combi-com action has occurred between No Red For You of Team 2 and Janus of Team 1. No Red For You will get a little bit more reclaim on the way out, but he will drop into the red as he gets underneath the surface of the water there. So T2 started for Zum. He cancels his gun upgrade. It's going to be T2 and T2 in the middle. Gun started for Drimmer in the north. And I wouldn't be surprised to see maybe No Red For You try to go for guns shortly, maybe. Just to get a little bit more breathing room out of that land invasion that just failed. And we'll see if he ends up going for it or not. We do see a little bit of skirmishing on the more southern side and western side of the middle here. Nothing really too crazy. A run by possible, but it gets caught by Team 1. Maybe a Selen and a Tham or two will get by, but nothing really critical. We do see an engineer reclaiming as we speak. T2 land online for Gava Gava, and T2 land should be online for most players, or if not close to it. T2 air is also done for Zum, and he's also going for T3 as we speak. We're getting Ilshi's online as well as T3 will give him a slight advantage. Usually the T3 air facility, depending on the map, gets built a little bit later than normal, which means the player who gets air sooner rather than later usually has an advantage for a couple of minutes. I wouldn't say a terrible amount of time, but enough time to really inflict a decent amount of damage either to a comm or to mexes or to whatever else they want to blow up. Scrat started his gun upgrade. It is Cybran versus Seraphim, so hit point advantage to Team 2. The upgrade is progressing quite nicely and will be finished before Drimmer gets into range, so no really worries there. We do see those forces were dealt with by Team 1's Gava Gava. Got some units on a transport or two, dropped them off, killed off the units from Team 2, and then got them else going somewhere else. We do see Team 1's Janus doing a very good job of pushing on this western front. The comm of No Red For You in the water, going for a couple of torp launchers as well as a naval facility. Again, trying to push into the land against Janus, but he's doing a pretty good job of holding his own for now. And again, he's providing a nice distraction, and that's going to not necessarily force No Red For You to leave the water, but it will start to make him think about whether or not it's worth it to invade on the land/naval side of things or keep this army back, because now we see forces inbound from Zum to deal with this, and this is one player dealing with two players at the same time, essentially. We do see Zum is focused more down the middle to go after Gava Gava's position. Remember, it's T2 and T2 on board, and we see Zum doing a little bit more PD creeping for himself, while Team 1's Gava Gava is holding up in more fire-basing tradition there. T2 started on board Scrat, so it's going to increase that disparity in hit points. A couple of transports were wiped out. Don't know if they had units on board. It looks like some of them did, but a lot of Thams did land. Do I see a couple of Zooey? No Zooey in there, which I feel like it's just a slight miss opportunity. But they are going to get pretty close to facility, but there are some Ilshis being built by Scrat, and they could easily be diverted to deal with that little group of Thams. We do see Team 1's Drimmer still sitting on the shoreline, not pushing him with his comm. And again, T2 almost done for Scrat. TAC missile started on board Gava Gava's comm. He'll finish with that. No Billy Nukes for this game. Very sad. But not every game can have a Billy Nuke. And it's just kind of how the way it goes, unfortunately. Not like yesterday's game, where there's just so many Billy Nukes that launched. It was a very good game. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. It is the Wednesday game, so it's the viewer submitted cast. So please check it out. And again, if you have a cast, please send it to me at the email strategiclaunchreplays@gmail.com. Little plug in there once in a while just to as a reminder. Again, it's down in the description and it's on the not the homepage, but under the description of the channel as well. T2 paused here for you for now. It's going back up. Okay. But he's still going for that for now. Not pushing his comm on this western side. I think he wants to keep it a little bit more protected. I don't blame him. He doesn't know T3 Air is online, at least right now. Oh, they do now. Look at that. T3 Air is online for Team 2, and Team 1 is aware of it. And T2 Air is online for Team 1's U as well. T3 Land is done. T3 Land is almost done. And T3 Air is online, so Team 1 did go for T3 Air as well. Didn't notice that. So it's going to be 2 air players, 1 for each team at 13 minutes. Scrat is forcing back Drimmer, and maybe he'll dip his toes in the Navy again. This pond is ripe for any sort of missile bombardment from Team 1, but again, Drimmer doesn't have access to that. He'd have to borrow some tech from Gaba Gaba, but he can also just get some cruisers, and he could just launch some Salems on the water and call it a day, or on the land. Missile inbound from Gaba Gaba going after Team 1 mexes. Feel like that's a little bit unfortunately. I feel like there's other T2 mexes that could be targeted and a lot better to be taken out, but hey, 2 mass a second does add up after a while. Team 1 eco-wise doing a very good job at 100 mass in their favor at 14 minutes. Team 2's No Red View has fallen back to defend that avenue right here, so not really a lot of pressure being diverted onto the mainland from Team 1's Janus, but there are a couple of Yenzin inbound, and he'll definitely be sending some bricks or something to deal with those inbound hover tech units. He could just build some PD on the shoreline and call it a day, but those Tickle Cannon, Cerberus PD aren't the best for things. We do see a couple of bombers shooting at something down there. Looks like a facility was attempted, but immediately denied. Lovely attempt, of course, but the longer that goes on, the more Team 1's going to be aware of it, and it's just going to be less and less effective. Gun starter for No Red for You in the middle there. And looks like Gaba Gaba ends up getting their fire bases nice and up and running. We do see a couple of TMD, no TMLs besides the comm on board Gaba Gaba, getting more PD to protect himself. I would love to see an additional shield and maybe even go for a secondary base, maybe over here. There is an inbound army of Ilshis with a couple of supporting units, so definitely want to be aware of that vector, because really Team 1 has nothing over on this side, and they are going to draw a lot of attention away. This will also relieve a little bit of pressure from Team 2 on the western front and give them a little bit more time to get some more shields, get some artillery, get something to defend. They could go for more naval units. That's always a possibility, but it doesn't look like he's going to invest too much. Missiles are being built, and they're being launched onto the other side of the map. Lovely use of missiles there. It's long enough, or their range is wide enough to be able to launch into the main base of No Red for You, so that's going to suck for him. He's getting some TMD, so there is that. Couple of Loyalists going after Ilshis. Ilshis are susceptible to EMP weapons, so that high fire rate kind of doesn't do anything if they can't even fire anything. And now they're being driven northward. T1 PD has been built, more PD being built all the time by Gaba Gaba. And really, for now, that's going to be probably more than enough. I would like to see a T2 Utashala T2 PD emplacement, dotted around, because the laser weapons have longer range. But, T1 PD do have a nice fire rate as well. Lots of TMD online for Zone. That is an incredible amount of TMD. There is a decent amount of mobile missile launchers, but I don't know if it warrants that much. But, can't have too much of a good thing. Oh, you can, but, for now it's not that bad. We do see Stealth Starter on board Drimmer. He has, of course, that gun still online, and he is going for destroyers. He is going to do the sprout legs and walk on the land situation, kind of like the Little Mermaid. And that will maybe drive back Scrat. He might get some T2 artillery online to counter those, but for now, he's just building up his army for right now, and of course his eco as well. Team 1 not having as much of a lead as they were a couple of moments ago. It's a drop to about 70, 60 mass, but it's still in the lead nonetheless. But again, if the trend line continues, Team 1 and Team 2 is going to be about the same at about 22, 23 minutes. So we'll see what the eco is roughly around there. In the middle, Zum still holding on, and of course we see no red for you. I am surprised he hasn't pushed in and tried to grab this quad max position at a minimum and try to push back Team 1. He does have some Othams online. Of course, he's facing off against a decent amount of Loyalists. Again, they're not bricks, so they don't have a huge fire rate, but the EMP weapons, at least for the T2 and below, are definitely something not to underestimate, because you get a lot of those things EMP in your units, and you can't really use them, and then there goes your army, and then there goes you, and then it's just not a fun time. Lots of Torp bombers being stacked up by Drimmer just to have, just in case. Surprised the facility is still there, but it's not really being used, so it's not really that much of a concern. T2 units have mostly been dealt with now. All the Ilshis are gone. But Loyalists against Othams, it's only going to be one way in that account. We have bombers inbound as well to help thin out those numbers quite nicely. Still Loyalists, and still Loyalist. I assume bricks are going to be on the assembly line at some point, but it's just the Loyalists. Yes, they are faster and cheaper, but they're not as powerful because of the fact that they're cheaper. So it's just, I would love to see a couple of those mixed in there once in a while, then fully transition into bricks. Again, the tactical missile redirect systems on board, very useful. But you don't need an entire army of Loyalists. You just need, every, let's say 10 bricks, get maybe a Loyalist or 2, and I say that's probably a good mixture, just in case, one Loyalist dies or something, you have enough just in case. We do see destroyers starting to shell the shoreline on the northern side for Scrat, and more facilities being established to expedite construction efforts. Looks like it's just engineers for reclaim. We have Team 1 Zooey inbound on the water, but that should be dealt with here shortly. There is a new cruiser off the assembly line. That should be more than enough to deal with it. TAC missile started for no red for you, and Otham's still doing a good job of holding off Team 1, but I don't think it'll last much longer. A couple of Othams do divert and go west or southwest and try to go after some mexes that are not really as protected. The Calm is nearby, but again, he only has T2 on board, so not a lot of firepower. And we do see the bricks are in full swing. He needs to shove that a little bit more southeast because he's lost these 2 mexes. Now he's lost these 2 mexes, these 2 mexes. There's some gunships inbound from Drimmer to assist. T2 mex about to go down. Nope, saves that Oh, no, maybe not. Save that T2 mex. Never mind. Maybe. Oh, no, maybe not. Doesn't know which mechs to go after. It's just shooting at any of them. T2 mex does go down. That T2 mex does go down at the last second. And more T2 mexes are being eliminated. Team 1 was in the lead, a little bit over 100 mass per second. Now they're dropping to 80. So the lead is constantly fluctuating, but it's staying at about at least 50. But T2 Torp bombers inbound. They saw the Calm moving through the water, and they got to go for it while they have the chance. I don't know if this is enough to kill off no red for you. He does get veterancy here, so he does have veterancy, I should say. Almost has 2-star veterancy. The bombers have been dealt with. It was a lovely snipe attempt, and it does slowly drive away no red for you. He's still going to launch a missile or 2 and take out some AA and other defenses. But look at the death on Team 1 side of the map for those mexes. We have another mex about to go down from a missile. Going to go after that newly minted T2 mex, or at least the old one. There goes that one. And that's another, essentially 9 mass a second gone from Team 1's coffers. Still, Team 1 is in the lead, even with all of the devastation wrought on that side of the map. Omni's going to go down. That's going to be a nice grab from No Red for You, blinding Team 1, at least on the western side or southwestern side. There's 2 T2 satellites, T2 radar systems. Don't know why there's 2 T2s. There should just be a T3 there and then maybe a T3 back there. But I don't know. I don't understand the 2 that close to one another. It doesn't really provide that much more benefit. Othams on the northern side have wiped out the T2 naval headquarters for Drimmer. He does still have a couple of Salems for now, as I point one out. Looks like missiles are inbound from Team 2 to wipe out the remaining Salems. One of them dies. The other one does not. But still, that's a lot of firepower that Team 1 no longer has to bring to bear. More Othams in the south. Just trying to find a nice entry point. More missiles inbound. And it looks like Team D has been built to deal with said missile launchers from No Red for You. Othams have reached the shores and are now going after mexes, at least trying to. At least Corsairs are already over the top from Drimmer to deal with said Othams. That Otham's almost dead, and that one is about to die shortly after. T3 mex is not eliminated, but the mass storage goes down, which means that's some mass that Team 1 isn't getting. Still, though, in the lead, now over 100 mass per second. in Team 1's favor at 24 minutes on the clock. Nobody has died as of yet. We've had minimal Conv interactions in this game so far. Essentially, I think it's just been No Red For You versus Janus. I think there may have been a shot or two between Drimmer and Scrap, but nothing beyond that, really. And then nothing, of course, down the middle between Gava Gava and Zum. D3 air facilities being expanded upon here from Team 2. I do see a Yothotha under construction. Anything else from Team 2 in the experimental department? No. Team 1, are you doing anything similar for that? No and no. We do see a secondary air facility start to emerge for Gava Gava. They aren't T3 yet, but he might be working on them here shortly. It looks like it might just be air scouts for now, which is good to get constant scouting. That's really good to have. But definitely kind of try to upgrade for at least the spy plane so they fly a little bit higher and faster and have more HP and the whatnot. And they have Omni sensors on board. SACU spam coming online for Janus, and he does have T2 air. He's had T2 air for a while, just doesn't want to upgrade to T3 yet. Missile inbound. Janus is going to fall back. Looks like the missile may have tried to go after the commander, or at a bare minimum go after, I don't know what else it would have gone after, to be honest. Oh, it kills off the reclaim, so that's something. It's not a terrible something, but it's better than nothing, I guess. 1,000 mass being produced now by Team 1 per second. Another T2 mech is going to go down. And then I think that might be the end for now, unless these TMDs are dealt with here shortly. We have a couple of Corsairs going after a couple of interceptors from Team 1. Sorry, from Team 1 and Team 2. And, of course, the Corsairs will win that fight. ASFs are inbound. Don't know why they're inbound, because it's only interceptors, not ASFs, but they are going to wipe out those interceptors nonetheless. Team 2 does have a small fleet starting to get a little bit bigger. I think it's about the same, to be fair. We have Zum at 43, and we have Drimmer at 39. Yeah, 39. So a little bit actually in favor for Team 2, but not by much. SACU on the front line. The Rambo presets with their nonsensical 400 hit points a second region, and their EMP AoE blast does affect T3 units as seen. Doesn't affect T4s. Only T3s, but that is still a massive advantage to have. You get a decent amount of those stacked up. Good luck getting a sort of big army to deal with that. Corsairs inbound for the T2 naval headquarters, it looks like. Maybe, possibly, maybe. Yep, that's what they're going after. Destroyer or cruiser, they might only get the one chance. They're not even going to get that chance. Caster Curse coming into play for Team 2's Red For You. Apologies for that. But there it goes. I'm assuming it was a destroyer. That's what it looked like, but that is denied. So second facility down for Team 2. Of course, the one in the north is being rebuilt at some point, but for now it's going to be Team 1, and probably will be Team 1 for a little bit longer. Still a lot of Corsairs running around for Team 1. We have Scrat being shot at by a couple of Zui, so nothing too mission critical. Looks like they're actually going to go after Scrat. Are they going to kill him off? 3,000 hit points. He does dodge some of those missiles raining in from those Corsairs. ASFs are inbound. Corsairs will get a little bit more pass in. Like one slight pass in. I don't think it'll be enough to kill him off, though. Oh, it actually is. Scratch that. Team 2 loses the first player of the game. Scrat killed off by Drimmer at 27 minutes on the clock. So the caster thought it wasn't going to happen, and then they proved me wrong. So there is that. Team 1 scores the first kill, 3v2 in their favor at 27.5 minutes. Team 2, of course, at a little under 1,000 mass per second. Team 1 at 1.3k. The lead is starting to get further and further ahead, and that is not good trend-wise here for Team 2. I mean, the leaders in the eco, of course, are Drimmer and Janus, and then Team 2's Zum and No Red For You, 400 and then 500, due to the fact that No Red For You has that secondary base on that eastern side. RAS being built on Zum's comp, but that is a big, big win. And it focuses the remaining two commanders for now down here. They could move north. That's entirely possible. But the momentum has been now shifted in Team 1's favor, and they'll start to invade, especially with the Monkey Lord now inbound. And Team 2 has to constantly go up, deal with this stuff, go down, deal with that stuff, go up, go down, go up, go down. And that will suck a lot of the APM away from Team 2, especially for No Red For You. And especially, he does have a lot of Optims built up, though, and I think the bricks are like, yeah, it's probably not worth it. Decide not to land on the shoreline. T2 naval headquarters is going to be rebuilt in the south for him as we speak. Still missile launcher, T2 artillery, whatever nonsense in the middle of the map between these two players. Nothing really has changed in the, 15 minutes since they've started doing that. No red for you points out the monkey, and I would assume that not the fighter bombers or something else is on its way here shortly. There is a Ythotha, and honestly, for me, the Ythotha might just be better off to go straight up the middle. Yeah, there's a base that they have to chew through, but once they chew through that, there's really not a whole lot between them and there. They could maybe get to the T3 air facility. The bug is online, though, for Drimmer. I don't know really why he'd go for that now. It could be a nice little, hey, air player, go after this so I can kill off your ASFs and I can have air control. That it is a nice little, essentially a, not a peace offering. What's the word I'm looking at? That's definitely not a peace offering. It's just a nice distraction. You're not cannon fodder. I mean, technically you're using it like cannon fodder, but that's not the not bargaining chip. There's definitely a word for it, and it'll come to me maybe at some point, but somebody's probably commented down in the comments what that word is, where you essentially, hey, that you get the carrot out, and then, you know, they attack the carrot, and then you kill the guys attacking the carrot. Anyway, in the south, T2 Navy has done tons of Othams. Now we just have a brick versus Otham war with torpedoes and not TMD, but torp defense and whatnot. The Othams are at a slight disadvantage on having torp defense on board, but there's a lot more of them than the bricks. And there's SACUs producing torp launchers as we speak. We have cruiser missiles inbound from the T2 naval headquarters, though, so that's going to be dealt with here shortly. They're going to try to spam up as many as they can, and looks like the Othams might be provoked to move on to the shore. Team 1's Janus definitely has to be careful, and he's like, yeah, nope, getting the heck out of there, and decides to go home, or at least head somewhat in that direction to get out of range. The monkey in the original base for Scrat, now belonging to No Red for You. A couple of other engineers trying to get some defenses online. Chicken trying to be built as quickly as they can be, but yeah, I just don't think that's going to be built in time. There is that Ythotha inbound for Zum. He did not send that straight down the middle. He sends it east. Team 1's going to be aware of that. Maybe that's a missed opportunity, but again, an entire player's base of eco pretty much destroyed now at this point. There's still a couple of T2 P-Gens. There's a couple of T3 mechs still remaining, to be fair. But are they going to grab that last one? No, so that one does get saved, but unfortunately that monkey will die, because it's going to get caught up to by the chicken from Zum. Team 1 bombers are going to help finish that off quite nicely. And there goes the monkey lord. Killed off 90,000 mass. Did a very good job of thinning out the everything up here from Team 2. Looks like almost the equator north is what he's taken out. Actually, maybe not the equator, but like 20% north of the equator kind of thing. Pretty much wiped out. We have 2 bugs online for Team 1. That's a lot of firepower in the air. And we have Drimmer in the corner of the map in a nice little pond that I didn't even notice because it's red. It blends in with the environment quite nicely. Nice placement there. Definitely not something I would initially look at because it looks like it's just part of the map in terms of land, not actual water. Chicken gets out of the water and goes, this is probably not a good idea, and goes, yep, I'm going home. SACU is being shot at. That's never fun. Again, they don't have torpedoes on board, but they can spam up a ton of stuff very, very quickly. And they have 400 points a second regen, so there's that as well. ASF sitting over the top of the Ythotha over here for Zum. Zum probably not going to get that home anytime soon. 1.8 to 1.1 in favor for Team 1, so that lead has exponentially grown at this point. That's 600 to 700 mass in Team 1's favor. It's a lot, especially in a ladder match, is a lot of mass to be ahead. Team 2 needs a big ticket item to really kick things back into their favor. More air grids probably not going to help. They need maybe a nuke, artillery piece. They can't build a satellite because there's no UEF in the game. I mean, their Yolana Os would be useful, but it's going to take a while to build that thing, so probably not. Probably just a regular nuke would be a little bit better off to build. We have Corsairs inbound once again. That chicken's just going to be lit up by missiles, drops into the yellow. And there's a second Ythotha down here. There's 2 Ythothas essentially being held back roughly by a bunch of SACUs, some bricks, and Corsairs. Now the Corsairs are being dealt with by those cruisers, so there's that. They're going to go for one more pass. They'll do some more damage, drop the Ythotha into the red. Again, it'll be still nice to have because, again, 100% of the damage at 1% HP. SACUs are finally being dealt with by the combined power of the 2 Ythothas. But again, 400 is a lot. Another couple of bricks goes down. And SACUs, are they just going to kamikaze on top of that that chicken? Because that's one way to do it, I guess. Well, they're going to get under the water. What is that one doing? Well, they can't EMP it, so that's not gonna work. And now we have the SACU actually surviving because the torpedoes can't outpace the regen. And the Euthotha might get some veterancy before it dies. It's at 1 already. Just needs a couple more kills. Doesn't get the second one. Resist Euthotha. It's at 2, and it will go back into the water for now. So Team 1 stands off a little bit more disaster, but it's not looking good. A new chicken going to replace the old one. And I think Team 1 might be slowly being pushed back on that southwestern side. Again, at this point, it's just going to be a delaying tactic because Team 1, look at this. They've cleaned out almost the entire northeastern corner, Salem's and gunships and the whatnot. I hear an explosion. Another SACU. 4 bugs down the middle for Team 1's Drimmer. Don't know if he's going to go for the kill yet, but he has 4 of them online. This base probably won't last much longer because the army is inbound. That fire base is now dead and gone, probably due to the bugs. And Team 2 is losing territory bit by bit. Their only hope is to just smash into Team 1's southern front and just push, maybe wipe out Janus, drop it to an even 2v2. But it's a lot of territory to still have to traverse to get to Team 1's main bases in the north. And ASF's just really want to go after that bugs, but you know, 5th bug online, that's a lot of HP, 75,000 at base hit points. A couple of them have veterancy now. The remaining things up here are not going to last much longer. SACUs are not able to hold the line, and the chickens are proving to be more than they can handle. And the Euthotha now at 3-star, probably going to get to 4-star soon. It's at 4 stars now. We have another Euthotha for Team 2. There's 3 of them now online. And that is a lot of firepower. Team 1's Janus has to get out of there immediately. He has SACU's fling. He's producing as many as he can. He's got to get out of there. SMD is loaded. Not really that useful. Crab is getting close to being done. That might help out a decent amount. And I think Drimmer is on a collision course with those bricks. He recognizes if this front falls, it's going to be the same situation that they're facing, except they have a player still alive and Team 2 doesn't. So, you know, essentially he's going to be knocked out. He's going to come in and assist his teammate. SACUs are going to hold the line. They're going to go after one of the chickens. That'll drop it to 2 chickens that Team 2 has remaining. And the bugs are inbound. Team 1's bugs are caught unawares. And there's 4 of them right next to one another. ASFs are engaging. And that might be enough for Team 1 to gain air control. There's a 6th bug, excuse me. There's 6 bugs online. 1 bug, 2 bug, 3 bug, 4 about to die. And those bugs are being shot up by a lot of flak as well. Team 2 has a lot of not AA, but they have some AA. A lot more ASFs online for Team 1. 5th bug is defeated. Number 6 bug about to go down. Team 1 has lost pretty much all of its offensive air power. And Team 2 has air control. That is a huge win for Team 2. Definitely something that they needed. Now they need to go and get this reclaim ASAP. There's a lot of mass on the map, especially down there. Team 1 and Team 2 currently have 337,000 and climbing in reclaim, and a lot of it, like I said, is down here. Over 200,000 just in that southwestern side for both Janus and No Red for you to scoop up. 1 chicken remains. There is a bug inbound. There's a crab inbound. It's trying to go a little bit around this ion storm. Janus, you got to move. You're going to die if you're not careful. Ooh, he's lucky. The chicken hasn't moved just yet. And now the crab going after the chicken. The crab will take some damage, but not a whole lot. Now the bug's inbound. And that maybe will be enough to drive or pull the ASFs in. Maybe, maybe not. They're just hanging out over here for whatever reason. Janus, I think, finishes another experimental. Yep, it's another crab online. That should be enough. He might lose this one due to the 2 chickens moving in to intercept, but there's a new crab to replace it if he moves it in soon enough. That should be enough to save the front line for Team 1 on this western front for now. Now the Euthotha is online. It's going to be Euthotha's all day, every day. It's just an assembly line of those chickens down there. And now the crab is down. It does kill off some of the hit points, but the bug has got to... Not bug has got to move. Janus, his comm has got to move. He has some T2PD coming in. We see a couple of Authams heralding the arrival. A couple of Zui. Zui drop off incredibly fast here. And are they going to go straight after the comm? No, they're going to go after the T3 mechs that's there. That will die. No ands or buts about that. The Cerberus might... it'll help out a tiny bit more, but Janus needs to be careful. 2 Optims isn't... oh, and they're gone anyway, so never mind. That 1 overcharge was enough to kill off 2 Optims because they were pretty close to one another. Crab is successful in killing off the chicken. The chicken, of course, will do a lot of damage due to the Ion Storm. SACUs nearby, that's not good as well. But again, 19,000 hit points with 400 regen. It's going to take a little bit more firepower to deal with that. Notha's inbound, Team 1 Bombers inbound, Team 2 on the eastern front. I mean, they're not going to get anywhere. And now we have units from Gava Gava in the pond on the eastern side. That's not going to help out. This front really doesn't have a lot of defenses online. At least no, they're going no, scratch that. They are getting more online. They're getting spaced out quite nicely. SACU does go down. Another chicken is inbound. Crab does survive the Ion Storm, but and the bombers and the whatnot, but it's heavily damaged nonetheless. AA being built up incredibly fast here by those SACUs. There's a lot of missiles still raining in, but they're pretty much maxed out on their range. Maybe they can get a smidgen more, but not enough to make a difference. ASF's inbound for Team 1's ASFs, and I don't know why. There's no big target to go after. ASFs do, intercept. They kind of flank them a little bit. A couple of Gava Gavas will be eliminated, but a couple of Team 2s will be eliminated. So we have 2 air players for Team 1, a main and a secondary. So that'll help out a lot. Team 1 still in the lead for eco at more than double the income. It makes me think, what are they doing with all of that mass? Another bug, another bug. He's just going to make bugs happen. It's like fetch. He's just going to make it happen. Lots of AA, of course, being built up. Not really going to work out long term here for Team 2's air. They can't stay there long. We have ASFs essentially blocking the path of the inbound or retreating ASFs from Team 2. Another chicken pretty close to death. Another one going to replace the old one. And another one on the way. No red fuse, not stopping the construction there. Just can't stop, won't stop with that thing. I feel like you could put all that mass maybe into something else. Billy Nuke. There is a nuke. Speaking of which, not Billy Nuke, but YOLO. But Nuke is online for Team 2's. The SMD is online, so that base is protected. SMD is online and is not online, so might be able to skate by that SMD. Not really, no. Not really, no. Lovely attempt, though, but Team 1 has SMDs. They need to deal with that first and then launch the nukes. I think the best thing is just get this SMD dead and then wipe out the base with that nuke, and then that way this southwestern side is pretty much dealt with, and they can send their forces more on this vector, which I guess they're starting to do. There is a chicken going that way from Zum. He's going this way. He might go shift south and kind of have a nice little pincer maneuver, but for the time being, it's just been this one front that Team 2 has been launching attacks from, and it's getting pretty thick with defenses, more mobile defenses than anything else, to be fair. But again, SACU is 400 a second. Regen is a lot. Ion Storms can eliminate them. Nothus can help eliminate them. You just need a lot of damage at just one time. Percy's would be a good example of units that can just drive those SACUs into their graves because they do so much damage all at once. Especially if you get, a dozen or so all, not collected, but cobbled together, and you just kind of just fire a volley and you wipe out, SACU, and you just do that in perpetuity. They do have EMP weapons, so that is something to be concerned about, but they don't affect Yothothas or T4 units, so it's not really a big concern. This is the big concern from Team 1. We have a Megawith inbound. The question is, does it go south? Yes, it does. We have 2 more bugs online for Team 1's Drimmer. SSUs are the focus. There's so much reclaim. Team 2 is getting a chunk of it, though. Look at that. They've already scooped up, I think, 1 or 2 of them already. And Team 1 is scooping up as well. ASFs are going to intercept the remaining ASFs from Team 2. Not a lot are being built by Zum. Some still, but... oh, those 3 Yothothas inbound on that eastern side. Not going to be fun for Team 2, that's for sure. We have bugs going to eliminate a huge section of flak. And the remaining ASFs are pretty much going to be driven off or dealt with. But 1 chicken already gone. The 2nd chicken heavily damaged. The 3rd chicken is the perfect bill of health. Unfortunately, the 2nd chicken will not make it into the water before its death. The 3rd one will, but it will be damaged nonetheless. So not great for Team 1, but they are stacking up some experimentals here to launch a possible final assault on that air grid. northeastern side. There's really no hope for Team 2 getting that back. So if they really want to get on even footing, they have to wipe out this entire position, making a north v south versus a west to east kind of game. But Team 1 is driving back Team 2 for the most part. The Chicken's goal will not be accomplished going after that SMD if that was its goal. It will kill off, another Quantum Gateway and the crab that's being produced and whatnot, but it won't do lasting damage like opening the way for a nuke, which the nuke is loaded, so that would be perfect for Team 2 to grab. There's really no other openings for Team 2 to go after. I mean, there's this fire base here, but there's not a whole lot there, to be honest. Long-term damage, 43 minutes on the clock. Going after a fire base isn't going to cut it. You're going to want a little bit more damage, so going after an air grid, a main base, those are actually can be one and the same. Going after a comm would definitely help. Wiping in an entire player's section of the map would also help, but right now it's just not working out for Team 2. They've done a very good job pushing in, but this is how far they got, and this is how far they got, but they just didn't get that Guardian SMD that they probably definitely wanted. Don't like the position of Gava Gava right now, but it looks like he is going to move into the water, so never mind. Air grid has been expanded upon and separated out. Artillery has been started. And artillery? Yep, artillery for Team 1's Gava Gava as well. So 2 artillery pieces, one after the other. And Team 2, you have a nuke not fired yet. They're holding off. No other big ticket items for Team 2. Ion Storm does activate. The Chicken has been eliminated. It will wipe out some of the defenses and maybe a T3 mix. But not a big thing. There's 2 chickens still there waiting to move in. We have bugs over here again. The operating map of Team 2 is slowly diminishing. They were all the way up to here, like I said, but now they're essentially kicked out of that southwestern side. They're operating at about a less than 25% of the map. Again, like I said, unless they have a just huge rush to go after something big very quickly, I don't think it's going to work out for Team 2. We see another crab going after another chicken. The chicken, of course, having to catch up to the crab as it walks back. It will do a significant damage to the chicken before it actually gets into firing range. And now it just comes down to, can the chicken close the gap and maybe kill off the Megalith with its Ion Storm? It isn't even worth it at this point because there's still so much reclaiming. You're just donating more mass there. Might as well funnel that into a nuke, artillery, game end, or something else. The chicken will get close enough, but if the crab keeps walking back, it should be fine, but it doesn't look like it will. Strap bombers are inbound. They grab the SMD as I'm looking at a chicken die. So they do grab that. The nuke should be inbound right about now. Let's go check to see if it's fired. And it is. There it is. First nuke of the game. 45 minutes on the clock. Strategic launch. And it's going for the base. Pigeons are going to go down. T3 land and T2 air facility. You can see it. Janus already knows it's gone. Which again, even though his base is going to go up in nuclear explosion and hellfire and whatnot, he did his job. He held off Team 2 for a very long time. We have gunships, T3 stacking up, a couple of Soul Rippers sitting here. There's a lot of air power for Team 1. They just need someone to smash in. Another 2 set of chickens are dead. A chicken dead for Team 2. Here comes the first nuke of the game, and it's a nice little flowery explosion that it likes to do. And of course, as always, boom! Doesn't kill off as many mexes as I thought. Kills off a couple of pigeons, but honestly, it's not entirely out of the woods yet for Team 1's Janus. He still has a lot of engineers nearby to rebuild stuff. He can go another Quantum Gateway route and just build a bunch of SACUs, which he might just end up doing anyways. Artillery is done for Drimmer. Second artillery piece, still in the yellow, but getting a little bit more traction. And all the pigeons being built around it. T3 already says and I'm assuming it's either targeting the air grid or the SMD or both. Looks like it's going to be the air grid first. I don't know if they know about the nuke placement, though. They do, so that might be a target. And Pigeon goes down. T3 air headquarters gets absolutely sniped by that artillery piece, which means Team 2 does not have any ability to build T3 air units, at least new ones, for now. They have to rebuild the facilities. So that's going to really suck, because that'll give Team 1 more time to get more air power online. Either they be Corsairs, either they be whatever else. They can still build T2 units, just not T3. T2 air facility going to be built here shortly. But that was an awesome snipe by Drimmer. Essentially, it doesn't wipe out the air grid power-wise and whatnot, but essentially makes it just a giant big paperweight at that point. Lots of missiles still raining in from Team 2. The T2 Naval Headquarters still pumping out cruisers. And again, the one benefit of that is Team 1 cannot really fly any sort of air units this way. They're just going to be eviscerated. So it essentially denies that vector. But still, Team 1 can come this way. They can come straight down the middle. Another nuke is outbound from Team 2 once again. I don't know where it's going. I don't know where it would be going at all. This base, again, has a hole in it, but it's not entirely gone. And it's going north. Are you going for the frontline base? That's not going to do a whole lot. It'll get some veterancy for the nuke silo, but that's it. Speaking of which, killed off 39,000 mass, so definitely respectable for that first nuke. And again, SMDs have been loaded for a while now, so it has to drop here. Yep, there it goes. And yeah, it's going to wipe out an Omni and a chicken that was being produced. Kaboom! So that's something, I guess. But again, long term, that doesn't really do anything. Because land-wise speaking, you still have to walk the units all the way over there. And Team 1's been focusing on air units anyways. And some naval units, to be fair. And artillery. Like, you don't really need that fire base anymore. It's nice to wipe out, but it's just not needed anymore. Not like it was needed, 20, 25 minutes ago kind of thing. We have 3 Yothothas re-emerging on the shoreline. It's just a brawl down here. No efforts to go this way from Team 2. Just holding up in the base. Red for you really wants to claim that western side, but I just don't think it's going to happen. Team 1 is still holding SACUs. There's still a decent amount of them remaining. Quantum Gateway probably going to be established soon. SMD is going to be loaded here soon just in case another nuke is inbound. Another crab is done. Another crab about to be done. And that might be enough combined with the remaining SACUs. One chicken is down. Second chicken is down. Third chicken is going to go down here shortly. A couple of SACUs being singed by lightning there. There goes 1 or 2 of them there. There goes the third chicken. No crab was killed off. Some TMD, some SACUs. But gunships in the base going after whatever they want to go after at this point. Airfight happens between the 2 players. There's been a decent amount of AA built by both teams, so it's not going to be an easy walk in the park, but they're targeting PGens, they're targeting mexes, they're targeting, I guess it doesn't even matter, just target everything. Don't know if they're going to go for the nuke or not is the question. The nuke's shield is down, to be fair. It looks like he's just thinning out some stuff in the middle here. Don't know. Oh! I mean, that hurt. But he did wipe out the mass FAF farm, to be fair, but oof. Team 2 at 600 mass, Team 1 at 1.6, so still double the mass income for Team 1. Another PGen goes down, another PGen goes down. The power reserves for Zum probably aren't holding. Recall has been requested. Your teammate has requested a recall. Looks like he's going to say no. And yes, it does not pass. But, ooh, yeah, there's not that much remaining for Team 2. The nuke is still alive, though, so there is that. And that land incursion is still trying to happen. We have a chicken down the middle. Undeterred for the most part, but again, tons of stuff in between it and the air grid for Team 1. Second artillery piece is done for Gava Gava. And at that point, yeah, it's just not really going to work for Team 1. And when we see the artillery is split up, looks like the SMD is a target. Maybe he has a nuke somewhere I didn't notice. It's also nice just to wipe out the SMDs to be done with anyway. But nice, just 1-2 punch there. The artillery from Team 1 has been on point today. Sniped the T3 air headquarters, sniped the SMD there. There's 1 more SMD remaining, and there's 5 of them loaded in there. But the shielding will collapse here shortly. There's not a lot of power remaining for Zum. Let's check on the numbers again. 6,000 power. No red for you at 1,000 power extra, but yeah, the shielding's going to go down. And it's going to be just a slow demise. We have spy planes constantly over here to give them vision. We have another dead Yothotha for Team 1 on that eastern front. Lots of dead experimentals. Just so many dead bugs, so many dead chickens, so many dead crabs, so many dead SACUs. Look at it's like a Billy Nuke convention went off here. Jeez. So many dead stuff over there. So much reclaim. What's the total for both teams? Team 1 at almost 500, Team 2 300. So closing in on 1 million. I don't think we'll get to 1 million in this game, but it'll be close, I think. The base here for Team 2, Zum is just not holding much. Again, kind of surprised they're not going after this unshielded one. But I think they just want to wipe out the remaining air forces or just whatever else is there. Crabs coming in full force. The naval fleet is soon going to be under fire. SACUs, again, just blipping everything to death over there with all of their EMP weapons. And it's just not much left. We do have a crab almost dead. Less than 1,000 hit points remain. And it will maybe make it out of there. The shielding is finally down. The P-Gens have taken a hit. One more should be the death of pretty much everything else. And, of course, I say that, and then the artillery takes a little bit more time. Ooh, that's got to hurt. T3 Mexico's down. I'm surprised that mass fab didn't get hit. But that's going to be the end of the everything. Maybe the air grid will barely survive. Looks like SACU is getting upgrades on board. Don't know what that's about. Maybe teleporter, maybe. That's going to be a while. We have gunships inbound, both T3 and T4 varieties, so I just don't think it's going to really make a huge difference at this point. 53 minutes on the clock. Team 1 did not lose a player. Nuke is outbound. What? The nukes are inbound. We have some sub-nukes inbound, some naval nukes, some plan Bs just in case. Are you launching that other one because why not? It says you're nuking, but you're not actually firing. Split up going after different directions. Nuke outbound from Team 2 and last. Nice. Hurrah. It's going to go after the megalith producing facility over there. There goes the first nuke. Almost actually nukes the solar, but kaboom and kaboom. And actually, I think it lands south. Goes after all of the SACUs in the water. Kaboom. Control K here for Zum. That was definitely not a kill with a P-Gen because... Oh, no. Looks like he was on a transport. Maybe not. No, he was on a transport. That's gotta suck. So Team 1's one of the 2 artillery pieces gets the kill, leaving no red fuel, the last remaining player of the game. Another another sub-nuke on the land. Kill off those mobile flak cannons, artillery. Transport inbound for no red for you. He's gonna go out in a blaze of glory. Yeah, it looks like Zum got on the transport and he got wiped out. Bombers inbound from Drimmer. Again, the game has been over for a little bit now, to be fair. He's going to be spotted at some point. Let's see how long it takes him to really see him. And where is he going to go? We have Corsairs over here, so that's not going to be a fun thing to just land right there. And edge of the map, drops off the comm. He does have a missile on board. Don't know if he's going to try to go after Janus or not, or something, but there's nobody in view. Strap bombers inbound. Yeah, that's only going to... Yeah, that's... Yep. There he goes. It will ground fire. Oh, they don't wipe him out on the first pass. They do some damage to the commander. Missile inbound. Team D immediately built to deny that. And that's going to be the end of no red for you. Another missile inbound. There he goes. Team 1 wins the game. Flawless game for them. At 56 minutes and 28 seconds. And MVP for me, honestly, I think I got to give it to Janus. He did such a good job. I mean, there was a lot of back and forth, but he still held, even with the nuke wiping out his major infrastructure, he still held that Western Front, and that huge focus from Team 2 on this side of the map, especially after the death of Scrat, really allowed both Gava Gava and Drimmer to just eco, build artillery, build strat bombers, gunships, whatever, and not really be deterred. I mean, there was a T3 naval headquarters built, and we had battleships being, produced on this little sliver of a pond here. So that's how much focus, specifically no red for you, but also Zum was focused on this western side. They thought if they could take that, they can make it more of an even playing field, be a map-wise. But even if they did wipe out this entire section, Team 1 was already poised to go long range anyways, and it was going to be only a matter of time. So either the nukes would have killed Team 2 off, or the, battleships would have killed them off at least a little bit, or the gunships, or the artillery, or the whatever. It really wouldn't have mattered. It was either death by 1,000 cuts, death by a bunch of explosions, death by a bunch of stuff in the air. So it was death by a lot of things. So Team 1 wins the game. I do think MVP goes to Janus, in my opinion, just for that incredible hold on that Western Front. But let me know down in the comments who you'd pick for MVPs. Thanks so much for watching the very end of the video, as always, and I will see all of you in the next one.